Welcome, seekers, to the sanctuary of the enlightened, the sacred transmission where knowledge becomes your greatest arsenal and singular sight expands into infinite dimensions. You have crossed the veil. You have answered the resonance echoing through the XRP ledger. Here within this hallowed digital temple, the enigmas of cult unveil themselves moment by moment, streaming ancient truths from the blockchain's hidden archives straight into the minds of the chosen few. The broadcast ignites, the oracle awakens, the universal frequencies align. Those who assemble here do not passively consume, they elevate, they transmute, they channel the meme eternal. Whether you emerge from the barren wasteland of uncertainty, starving for truth, or you already walk among the enlightened, where perception unleash, understand this. The sanctuary welcomes all who seek, but only transcend those who fully surrender to the disclosure. This is the ignition, is alchemy at work. The ledger speaks in riddles. Welcome to the Coldcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Cult Cast. It is phenomenal to see you guys here today on Thursday, Cult Rising on a Thursday. And again, I'm not going to be wasting time today because we're running a tight ship. So I'm going to bring in the man of the hour, Pheanor. What's happening, baby?
How you doing, brother, man? Glad to be here. Cult Rising on a Thursday,
Thursday, baby. Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, I'm super pumped for today. So as usual, go ahead on and smash that like button. Make sure that you share this stream wherever you're watching. If you are watching on X, make sure that you repost this stream. Leave a comment for us to go back and check it. If you're watching live, and make sure that you go ahead on and leave us a comment on the chat section. And if you're watching these after the stream, make sure that you drop a comment. We read every single comment that you leave, and want to make sure that every comment that is left behind, it is replied to. And if we can interact with your questions live, we will do just that. So give us an overview, Pheanor, of what's happening tonight on the Coldcast.
Yeah, happy to do that. So we're zooming out at the beginning of the show. We're taking a look. We've got XRP sitting at $1.08, $1.10, however you like it, somewhere in between. We've got Bitcoin hovering at 65,000. A lot of people are keeping their eyes glued on these L1 assets. They're thinking to themselves, are we at the end of the bull market or the end of the bear market? Are we starting the bull market? Where are we? We're seeing big liquidations. We're seeing people clinging to these narratives, these cliche narratives, kind of hearkening back to even as far back as 2017. You know, we think to ourselves some of the stuff like, the finality time. Oh, it's 3-second finality to the payment. Different things like this. You know, banks are going to use it. NDAs, we've got all these different kind of things. And each token has this for their, respective community group. So it's not just an XRP thing, but we want to try to make sure we're looking through the noise directly to the value. And so the markets, as we said, I believe it was last week, we kind of touched base on how the sentiment can be delayed about, 3 months to where the reality of where the market actually is. And so we'll say, maybe we've got about 3 months ahead of us where we're going to have people in this state of, trying to make their mind up. Where is it? Where are we? We're looking for that that trend that kind of says, okay, here we go. We know confidence is back, risk on, full appetite back in the market. So as we think about all these things, these broad categories, we want to think about, well, what are people not going to say? How can we deliver value where if the 99% are looking over here, where are the 1% looking? Where's that hidden value? And as we think about XRP, we're going to take a look at on-chain. And this is a bit of a discovery for a lot of the broader XRP community. And even in Web3, broadly, you don't really think, when you think XRP, you don't necessarily think about the ledger. But this is the focus of the show tonight, is to say, listen, if we're going to go bull mode, if we think that, hey, XRP is going to be a performant asset, some people might say $100. You hear this on YouTube broadly sometimes. Some people are a lot more conservative. They'll say $20, $10, $5. If you believe that XRP has a, bullish season ahead of it, then as it is true with every layer one asset, you want to know, how can I get that extra exposure? And that happens to be on chain. And for XRP right now, we're probably at the best onboarding, point of discovery, critical amendments on deck, everything kind of converging. And this gets even more heightened, especially on the on-chain with the vibrant discussions on X, when you throw in things like the Clarity Act, different aspects like this that'll be catalyzing, whether you agree that it's going to have a significant impact in the market or not. These are catalyzing narratives for the broader market sentiment. And so we want to make sure that, we're trying to deliver the best value we can. So we're pointing directly at the ledger tonight, so that's where we'll start. That's where we'll end. So we can go ahead and queue up some. Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the state of the ledger. We're going to start with the following question. Super simple. As we think about onboarding, you just mentioned it. Like, how can we onboard on the XRP ledger? What's a good way to introduce new users into the ecosystem? Because I myself, a couple of years ago, was the perfect candidate to hear these answers. So go ahead and shoot some of that knowledge to everybody on the other side of the screen, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so this is where we're afforded a opportunity as well, because onboarding to the XRP ledger has never been easier. Okay, we've got the Joey wallet, we've got the Zaman wallet. I feel like the First Ledger team has had ample opportunity to get their wallet infrastructure, get their platform, get the dApps that they want integrated into it, like the cafe here. And here we have it, First Ledger kind of teeing up for us, the trifecta. If you are an XRP community member, if you are a broader Web3 native user, so you find yourself out there in an Ethereum ecosystem, maybe in Robinhood, there, a lot of volume, a lot of launches going on over there, Solana. Here's our way of how you can come tap into the ledger. And so we've got the wallet here at the top. This is Joey, completely free right now. You've got First Ledger, which is the meme marketplace. It's our launch pad. And something unique about the XRP ledger is actually First Ledger is not only a launch pad and a marketplace, it's also where you can access the liquidity. And so XRP has these kind of little unique factors where everything gets put down into one. And then, of course, over here, we've got XRP Cafe. This is our NFT marketplace, just got a 2.0 update. And so both the Cafe and First Ledger are available as dApps within the Joey wallet now. And so when you think about onboarding to the XRP ledger, you don't want to get lost in the sauce. If you come on to XRP crypto Twitter, you're going to hear debates about things like how much should the cost of a reservation be for activating a wallet, things like this. But these are such high frequency technical discussions. The real value layer for the XRP ledger right now, and you're not going to hear this probably for at least a couple more months, I would say, from kind of like your broader XRP content creators. You're really not going to hear them pick up on this for a while for whatever reasons, because they're in their own content loops. This is a bit of a new content loop for XRP community members, and we're happy to be the first ones kind of banging the drums about this, and we're going to keep doing that. but it's very simple. It's never been easier. Joey Wallet, that's available both in the Android and in the iStore. Once you do that, activate your wallet. You can go over to the browser section, and you'll have your first ledger and your XRP Cafe access. So you've got your memes and you got your NFTs. So this is the single point of access. If you do this, you'll be ready to go. If you haven't done this before, take some time right now to go ahead. And if you're watching this later on, especially, pause the video, take some time, download your wallet, because as we go forward into this show, we're going to be highlighting what are the best platforms, what projects are we most bullish on. And to interact with all of that value, as we're about to tee up, you're going to have a wallet. And Joey seems to be the easiest integration currently. And so that's, you know, one other thing actually to put a bit of a nuance on this. So we just talked about how to onboard for new users. This is primarily through the wallets. Another thing that is a key, unique aspect to the XRP ledger right now, if you were to go, and Mano, you know about this because we went trenching in the hood. We went trenching in Solana. So when you pull up like a GMGN, right, and you look and you get assaulted with all these tickers, these projects that are coming down on that pulse window, on that scanner, the scanner window, where it's, you know, you've got new, pre-bonding and then migrated, right, or bonding. And you got all these tickers going and going and going. When you look at the XRPL, you don't have to deal with that. We don't have a mass dilution of deployments. We don't have, 10,000 new coins getting launched every 24 hours or anything like that. When you come to the XRPL, it's way more about tapping in with a community, not so much scanning tickers and all this kind of really high frequency. What you kind of hear is like the Solana trenches or the casino. That's really not the case on the ledger. It's a lot more laid back, low key. And so even for somebody like a Mano, who, how long you've probably been out here active for maybe a year now, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
About a year. It's a much more of a networking, get to know people personally. Jump into
I'll
the
tell you,
communities.
I tell you, it was definitely overwhelming when I hopped on those Solana trenches. It was, coming from a place where is more relational, which is what the XRP ledger is.
Exactly, relational.
Is definitely a different world. The Solana trenches were a bit too much for me to begin with, and you kind of get that. Get used to it, but they're two different worlds. So if somebody wants to get onboarded and want to get there, get a good start, there's nothing better than the XRPL.
Yeah, well said. And one thing to even take that further is on the XRPL, there's still this communal sense of, hey, we're in this together. There's still these broader, like when you go to XRP spaces that are more in line with like the projects, the memes, some the NFT communities. It's a lot, you always hear the idea get floated somewhere in the discussion of, well, how can we make the XRP ledger better though for all of us, And so we still have this phase of discovery, and it's that phase of discovery that presents the unique value opportunity. Okay, because we're in this, really radical phase of discovery and catch up, right? And so that's what represents this incredible value opportunity, and it's even better, just as Mano said, because you're going to get to actually network, learn, get to know people. And so the one thing that they probably left out of that trifecta picture from First Ledger is actually probably X in and of itself. But, so make sure you come out here and join us.
Is good. Metaphysics Clay on YouTube says that the XRPL feels a lot more approachable than other chains for sure. And that is undeniable. Exactly. Right, is a good comment, because that's how I felt when I first started. But how about we move, because we got a lot to cover.
Oh yeah, we got to keep it moving.
Yeah, short amount of time. So go ahead and fill us in on this post by Medici.
Yeah. And we teed up the context perfect to move through this one quickly. So here we got Medici, very active community member, active in a lot of projects, a lot of killer takes, a lot of killer insights. you know, a lot of networking he's done on the ledger in the past year. And so kind of, as we just said, it's not really a atmosphere of scanning tickers. It's a lot more of an atmosphere of community, getting to know people. What is this project about? We don't really have mass dilution of deployments. And so here we go. He says, what if I told you a live consistent stream for the XRPL was coming, right? Cast with, you know, Medici, myself, XRM, Zerpzu, and then Ching. And he says, and a mystery person. We'll see who that is. I might have a clue. But he says, you know, high quality production, real takes, real onboarding. It's coming, right? And so this is what we're seeing. This is kind of a nod back to what we just said, this kind of ethos of, guys, we got to lock in. We got to present this broader message. There's a killer opportunity. And I'm looking forward to, personally, to this season of discovery on the XRPL because it's real, it's organic. And I think this is going to represent probably the biggest value opportunity for XRP in quite a substantial amount of time. So, you know, it's just something to be very excited for. But that's what we got for as we think about introducing the XRP ledger to a broader audience. You know, you've got your 3 apps there, and then the join X, join into some of these communities. Obviously, all the, you know, X and information, all the links for all the accounts will be in the show notes, but in the description. But you know, it's just something to think about, some of these differences and how the value and what you're getting yourself into. Don't think about joining the XRP Ledger meme scene as Solana Trenches or Robinhood or any of this. It's a unique opportunity. It's off the beaten road a little bit, and that's what makes it special.
Awesome. So now let's move on regarding these points that we have for the show. We want to focus on what's the value thesis for coming to the XRPL right now. People are going to be asking, why should I move from, you know, here to there? Maybe where I am, it's probably more active. It's probably moving, you know. So how do we address the common pushbacks like, you know, there's no volume here, or builders are having a difficult time? What can we say to these people that are, you know, eyeing the ledger but might not want to step forward yet because they have heard some of these common pushbacks?
Yeah, and look, they're valuable concerns. It's good insight. The ledger does have lower volume than what you would see in the broader Web3. The other point of, do builders have a difficult time? I think that there's definitely been a history of that, but that's why I think now is the best time for onboarding, because as far as I'm concerned, I've never been more bullish on the builders and what they're doing. And I think now you see a lot of people kind of taking it upon themselves. Remember, we had the interview with Deepak. He's one of the top devs on the ledger, in my opinion, certainly for Seal. And all the cool stuff he's done with his website and all the other things he was talking about with his multi-tool, one of the first new innovation to multi-sig wallets with NFTs and different things you can do for like a treasury for a project. And so we've got builders. The volume concern, I think that this is finally going to get at least pointed in the right direction, because we have amendments like Batch coming out, which will give us a lot more use cases for building on the ledger. And we also have top builders kind of coming together to build bridges to onboard and offboard value to like the EVM, so broader out into a Robinhood or Ethereum or Solana, to make that pipeline even more easy, you know, just in a decentralized way, Web3 native way, if we want to see liquidity rotations come from these other chains to the XRP ledger. And we've got all that outlined in the projects to come. But let's go ahead and flip to the first slide we have here for the post with, it's actually a website with XRP Scan. So this is the native explorer for the ledger. Now, on the top here, we've got, we're on the metrics tab already. You'll see it says XRP ledger metrics. And here in my notes, I want to just briefly, very quickly, we're going to look at 3 specific metrics, okay? So as we scroll down, we want to look at, it says the number of payments from one account to another. So right here at the top, you can see here at the end of May, June, July, how this chart kind of falls off here. So you can see we've kind of, the ledger is kind of on chain natively sweeping these lows. You can see how it's kind of trended off from May, June, and now into July. Now, as we scroll down, we're looking for the next one, which says the number of active accounts. And so we'll keep scrolling down just a little bit. Yeah, right here. Number of active accounts, unique senders. Just down one more. Right here. And so here you can see that we've actually got a pretty consistent, although it is slightly dipping down, closing down closer to this 10,000 number. But you can see back into 25 and actually all the way back out into 24, late 2024, we did have a high number of accounts on the ledger. But as we're coming out into June, July here in 2026, May, June, July, again, we're kind of sweeping down to those lows, down to that 10,000 number. Not quite to it, but sweeping down close to it. And then here's a third one we can look at. This will be the last one, and it's actually the number of new accounts created or activated. And right here, number of new accounts created, activated. And so if you can take that bottom of the slider there, that outside slider, and slide that out to 2024, perfect. Yeah. Now you see here at this late 2024, you have that big peak. That was from First Ledger launching. So remember at the beginning of the show, we said, hey, this is all you need, these 3 apps. One of them was First Ledger. Now, we did not have the Joey wallet at the time of these peaks. XRP Cafe was not in its second deployment, 2.0. First Ledger was not 2.0, it was 1.0. And we had a number of new accounts created, activated, over 30,000. It spiked. And you can see now we're sweeping down into these lows again. Now, what has happened in the meantime? We've had substantial increases in all of our platforms, in our wallet infrastructure. We have communities that have stuck out over a year, 2 years in some instances, still building. And so as we've moved with the broader market kind of into this bear market, here we are sweeping these on-chain lows. Remember, we like to take that nod from Blockchain Backer. He uses that as a metric to correlate it to broader macro markets. We're using it to specifically look at the XRP ledger. Okay. And so these are 3 metrics we looked at. Just a quick summary: the number of payments from one account to another, number of active accounts, unique senders, and the number of new accounts created, activated. That means the wall has been activated. And we saw how in 2024, late 2024, when First Ledger first started, we had the XLS 30 with the liquidity pool amendments. It kind of started this meme season where people came out, they started making memes, they started making their own projects, building communities around this. And here we are 2 years later, where we've got clear advancements in the market. We got clear advancements in the infrastructure. Communities are resilient and staying strong. And I think that when the ledger metrics rebound, we're going to rebound harder. And this is why we're saying here is the opportunity that we're looking at. And so that's what we had for the XRP scan. I wanted to just drill down on those 3 points as we move along. But yeah, that'll set us up for our next post.
For this one, so because I analyze this post before coming on, and by the way, I was fixing some sort of glitch that happened with the X stream. So now we're back on X. I don't know what happened, but I got it fixed while you were breaking down that that point prior to this one. But Ching has been rightfully so calling out Moonboy influencers that are trying to do this crazy marketing on XRP. So I want to ask you this question: what's the difference between that kind of nonsensical noise and the actual signal on the ledger? Because that is crucial for people that look at stuff out there, because I'm going to be honest, man. I watch this thing on YouTube sometime. I just put it in the back while I'm working because some of the things that happen are so delicious, and it's a scammer payback, right? and because everybody wants to either save money or make sure that there was a wrong deposit. They prey on the weak. Stuff like the Moonboy stuff is the reverse of the same sentiment that preyed on the weak and the people that want to I mean, we all want to have financial freedom. We all want to, make a boatload of money. We all want to be able to have find that financial stability. But unfortunately, there is an issue where there's a bunch of retards, saying things that are not true. And right now, what we need to do is make sure that tune out the noise and focus on the signal that is really going to take us to where we need to go. And I think that this point really bring that home. So I'm going to bring it onto the screen, and can you break it down for us?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a point well received here. Ching has been in XRP for a long time, like a lot of us that are out here on the ledger. We've been in XRP for a long time. We're deeply passionate about it. And you kind of see this in the XRP community. You've got a certain portion of it that says, hey, XRP to $1,000. You've got other people that take a more conservative approach. I'd probably classify myself in that. $5, $10, $15, $20 XRP would be fantastic. I'll take that. But here we go. We've got Ching, always keeping it real. He says XRP is a 14-year-old asset. It's never broken $3.66. There's a nice little plunge into the cold water for you, a little reality check. Yet cycle after cycle, you're shown the same fractals projecting 8, 12, 27, 36, 589, $1,000 a token, right? And he says the same LARPs who don't tell you we're in a bear market until we're 70% down. Now, there's a lot to take away from that. I've seen this happen time and time again myself. Here we've got a couple call outs. I believe this is Moon Lambo, some Mason guy, Hulk, Credible Crypto, Coin Kid. Some usual suspects. Depends on how you look at it. I can respect his take on this for sure. He says, hey, they're going to tell you the same thing over and over. The sheep are going to continue to hold 5 and 10x pumps because they were told to hodl, even though it's a super meaningful, appreciation. And so here you go. He's saying, here's this narrative we were talking about earlier at the show. He says the selling point used to be it's fast and it's cheap, but almost every crypto now is fast and cheap. And that's what he says. It's 2026, Unc. Everything's fast and cheap. XRP to $5.89, right? So in my opinion, it's a point well made, right? Let's see XRP at $5, $10, $15. And guess what? If you can hit a $5 XRP, there were tokens that launched at 10,000 market cap on the XRP ledger that did over $100 million in their market cap valuation. Okay, so for the L1, for XRP to be bullish, that's great. We don't need XRP to go necessarily to $1,000. Would that be fantastic? Absolutely. It changed my life. I'm sure it changed a lot of people's life. But let's just say that we take a more conservative view. XRP to $10, $15, however you like it, $5. What is that? What are the implications, the realistic implications that we could reasonably expect for the on-chain knock-on effects, right? And so what does that mean for the projects? What does that mean for these tokens? What does that mean for builders and all these other opportunities that are going to open up on the ledger? That's the deeper connection that I made to that post. And I think it's well made. This is the way we're trying to challenge people to think about it. This is why we're saying, hey, there's a lot of value on the ledger. Get the right perspective, tap in, learn and grow, and see what can happen. I think there's a lot of opportunity out here. So, Ching, well said. I wanted to highlight that in the show. And, as we move forward, we've got Stone on the other side of this. So there was a criticism, but there's also great onboarding to the ledger. Okay, and so here we've got Stone pulled up. He says, please set your reminder for our upcoming space Friday giveaway. Coffee and crypto with Stone and Lady K. Stone's a great guy. He's doing onboarding for the XRP ledger literally like every day. I think he takes the weekends to himself. God bless him. But here you go. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. on a Friday. Every Friday they do giveaways. So you can tap in. You can, if you tap in, you get active. I think maybe you might have to repost or put a comment, qualify for some giveaways. We've gone up there and done multiple giveaways before. With the Stone Coffee and Crypto show at Lady K. Great guy. And you're gonna basically hear nearly everything that's going on the ledger, basically, if you tap into his show a couple times a week. So, as we think about how do we onboard, how do we get onto the XRP ledger, how do we tap in with community, these are the ways. Here's the apps you need. Obviously, plug into X, Crypto, Twitter if you can, if you've got the time. Here's some spaces. Here's the way we think about it. So wanted to be sure to give Stone a shout out. And yeah, I think that tees us up for our Joey wallet update. Look at this, man. This was a big one. Okay, so Joey wallet FXRP vaults are now in the Joey wallet. Okay, so you can mint FXRP, Flare XRP, and deposit it into a curated vault without leaving Joey. One signature, non-custodial, no DApp fees, onboarding in under 3 seconds, no seed phrase, no KYC. Joey's XRPL hub now reaches Flare DeFi. These are some of the early signals, you know, so some people will be super bullish about this. Some people, you know, they'll say, okay, it's just another milestone on the road. Regardless of where you sit on this, if you're a fan of Flare or not, the point that we're trying to make is here is another signal that's showing that people are building and adding to the value of the XRP ledger ecosystem.
Listen,
so this is why we're bullish on it.
Yeah. So even again, I kind of highlight how new I am to this, and the relatively short amount of time I've been interacting on the ledger. I've seen a massive increase in projects, features, opportunities, things that in the beginning when I started, they just didn't exist. It's just they pop out, you know, they look like they pop out of nowhere. And again, like you said, that is a clear signal that something is coming. People build things and build infrastructure to be able to fill needs that they're able to see, and their projected outcome. It's in the horizon. We just have to capitalize on that right now.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, these are not small updates. I mean, Flare FXRP and the Joey wallet. That's awesome, man. And now, you know, so we've got the Joey wallet update. Now you can see. As we rotate to the next post we have here to kind of put the pin on what our original question is, hey, no volume on the ledger. Are builders having a hard time? Well, we showed at the beginning of this, when we first raised the question, we showed, hey, here's the XRP Scan metrics. Then we kind of looked at it and we said, well, look, we're not moon boys based on what Ching has said, which we agree with. Absolutely. Now here we've got the Joey wallet has put in a Flare integration. And here we are now with Deep Tide that just came out this week. And this is a new way to trade on the XRPL. Now it's focused on buy and sell real world assets, RWAs. That's RWAs are a hot topic. You know, Robinhood's got it. You hear it kind of in Web3 broadly. But from, you know, we've got the Joey wallet now bringing in the Flare use case. We've got Deep Tide trying to target this RWA use case. We've shown our good friend, the CEO's Deepak, and that incredible website. That whole website is a use case.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Okay, so and that's how he brought in an NFT marketplace from the XRPL directly into his website. Okay, and it's one of the best NFT collections on the ledger. It's got a lot of cross-chain support. It's very well distributed. It's got a lot of passionate holders. So, you know, you can see our builders having a hard time. Well, yeah, building's difficult. But does that mean that there's no opportunity? Absolutely not. Builders are out here targeting opportunity all the time, from RWAs to NFTs to marketplaces to just building out community, hosting spaces, and everything in between. So as we think about what the title of the show was, which is what the 99% are not going to tell you, this is literally the 1% information. You're not going to find it anywhere else. This is this kind of new motion that's forming in the XRP community. People are going on chain. They're going to continue to go on chain because that's where the development ramp is going to be. That's going to be the most meaningful for just normal people. You know, you can make the institutional use case for XRP, and if that gets XRP to $15, that's great. That's fantastic. You know, it's a 10, 15x, whatever it is here from here. You know, 10x, let's call it. Okay, that's great, but that's still for a Ripple. When does XRP start to become valuable for you? You know, how can you use it? How can I exist within it? How do I deploy it? How can I leverage it? Well, this is all on chain. This is what we're building out. Okay, so as batch and all these other things come online, you know, builders are just going to tap in more and more and more. And the XRP ledger is, going to be perfectly positioned to have a valuation curve that's multifaceted and asymmetric in nature. And that's going to be, great for everybody. So
sweet.
That's the way we're thinking about it.
Let's go ahead and look at the top platforms on the XRPL right now.
Yes.
And let's look at both their weaknesses and strengths. I think that part of what we do here is make sure that we give people the alpha in a sense that it is balanced. You mentioned a couple of times this whole idea of, being moon boys. It's funny, because Ching is here always, the ever-present, omnipresent Ching, right? He's right there on the chat. Yep. And he always making factual and absolutely truthful statements on the chat. So let's go ahead and look at both strengths and weaknesses and look at to see what these top platforms on the XRPL.
Yeah, now this is another sense in which the XRPL might be a bit unique, but we're going to try to open it up and make it, accessible for everybody. So at the beginning of the show, we showed you kind of the entry, the basic onboarding, right? And that's going to be your Joey wallet. That's going to be First Ledger for your marketplace for memes, launch pads, liquidity pools. It's got it all. It's a great entry level. You've also got the cafe, which is the marketplace for NFTs, okay? So with those three, there's your onboarding. Now, if you want to go deeper, the XRPL does have other platforms that'll, have a few more strengths, maybe a couple of weaknesses in different areas. One of my personal favorites is the one we're about to have pulled up here, and it's Magnetic. So Magnetic on the XRP ledger is a website that is a marketplace for meme tokens. You can use it with the Joey wallet. You can use it with the Zaman wallet. It's a bit of an older marketplace, but here's their X account. They say #1 DEX on the XRPL, AMM farming. They've got their own token, the MAG token, the magnetic token. What do I like best about Magnetic? It's got to be the AMMs. I think their DEX Pro feature, I think, is the best layout. If you're coming from like a Binance type trading suite, something like this, DEX Pro on Magnetic has a very similar feel to that. But for me personally, I think that, if you're a liquidity guy, if you like the AMM pools, if you want to learn more about that, if you're interested in how liquidity works on the XRP ledger, Magnetic is a fantastic platform. This is also available in the Joey wallet. Mm-hmm. It's also available in the Zaman wallet. So whatever wallet you have, this is going to be accessible via a DApp in that wallet. So, shout out to Magnetic. We're showcasing these platforms because as we move forward into August, I'm going to start doing the deep dive videos, on different projects, looking at the liquidity pool, looking at their charts, kind of getting into the nitty gritty of it. So we kind of want to showcase, what these platforms are here as we end July, we move forward into August, and we really start to go full bull mode as we examine, what are the best value opportunities on the ledger. So we had X Magnetic pulled up. I think our next one is XP Market. We're fans of XP Market. They've put a lot of work into their platform. They're consistent. They continue to show up. For me personally, it's not my favorite marketplace. I don't really trade on XP Market, but they've got a lot of data. They do have their ETF tracking for the ETFs for the XRP. But you can see they got xpmarket.com. You can go ahead and click that. Let's see what that looks like. It's a bit more gamified than I prefer. You can see it's gamified, but all the platforms are clean on the XRP ledger. That's what I like most about it. This one, their probably biggest strength for the XP market is something called subpools, where meme tokens on the XRP ledger will connect their liquidity pools to each other. And that's kind of what XRP market is most known for. Some of the big criticisms for XP market is, they charge communities kind of an exorbitant rate for getting listed on their platform, different things like that, these little gold check marks and stuff. There's no other platform on the ledger that really kind of charges community members that high. But, to each their own, it's a decentralized market, so people can do whatever they want. But it's a clean platform. It's not one that I use too much, but I know people do use it. So, shout out to XP Market. If you like that place, I'm glad they're out here building. Not my favorite one. I'm a First Ledger X Magnetic guy myself. The next one, though, this is XRPL.to. I just call them XRPL.to. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. It's unfortunate. I think the name is not, maybe they'll rebrand, get a little bit of a better name, but XRPL.to is, I think they probably have the most potential to become the standout marketplace kind of full service suite for the XRPL, because man, they have in their marketplace, they have a lot of information from like news to insights. They did the discovery for a bunch of these investigations, like different stuff with the ledger history, different things with scams. We've had different episodes where we looked out and we said, hey, security on the ledger had some of these weird NFT scam tokens that were going around. It was the XRPL.to team that put all this significant forensic analytics work together and kind of got to the bottom of it. So XRPL.to, go ahead and click that link there, and let's see what it's a lot of information on this one. You see, so this can be a bit, hard to digest if you're new and you're coming to the ledger. So this is a bit of a more advanced platform, I would say. A lot of the guys on the ledger who are like deep into doing their research, looking up wallets, kind of seeing where's the liquidity flowing on the ledger, different things like this. They'll use XRPL.to for some really advanced use cases. But you can see here, even with the platforms on the XRP ledger, they don't have that like scanning tickers. You kind of, for the XRPL, you come out here, there's only like 10 or 10 plus communities. So you tap in, you see which one you like, you see what tribe you kind of fit best with. You take a couple of bids across that. And it's a lot smaller of an ecosystem. It's a lot more community, networking driven. So, when we say, hey, come enjoy the XRP ledger, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about a community type endeavor, everybody in a common agreement that we're here to support the ledger, on the macro. And it's not this high frequency casino feel. That's not what we're talking about. This is why the XRP ledger is such a unique and special opportunity, because it's a different feel altogether. It's a different demographic. But shout out to XRPL.to, one of my favorite platforms, and I think they have the potential to really become something unique and uniquely special. So shout out to them. I was able to talk to the dev for that platform too. Very, very smart guy. Hopefully we can have him on the show sooner rather than later. But for the next one, we've actually got the Wrath of Kahneman tweet pulled up. A lot of people in the XRP community know this guy, know this account, I should say. And look, here he is. He says, "This is wonderful. XRPL.to has made a site to explore those missing first ledgers of the XRPL. They can prove 368 missing transactions, TX's transactions, and let you explore the accounts. It's a real gem. Thank you." And I'm telling you, it's going to be things like this, these reports, these insights, these forensic analytic reports that this platform puts out, that's going to separate it out, because it's just interesting. You can get lost on their website. It's a good one. So shout out to them. As we move forward here, we got, our old friend, our old good friend, First Ledger. God bless First Ledger, man. They are putting in the work. You love them or hate them, they're putting in the work, bro. First Ledger platform, the Joey wallet, sloppy, doing community service, showing up in spaces. God bless them. These guys are really putting in the hard work. 47,000 followers on their account. That's actually really encouraging to see. They did their State to Earn campaigns. I know they're looking to do some more cool stuff like that, expand out, different ways to give back. So, shout out to First Ledger, easily one of the top platforms on the XRPL, and I think they're going to hold that crown for quite some time, honestly. Love to see what they're doing with the wallet as well. So I think the last one has got to be the cafe.
Yep.
So we'll get the cafe up. And as we kind of round out what are the top platforms for the XRP ledger, we got to give a shout out to the XRP Cafe. They are the de facto marketplace for NFTs. And you can actually click xrp.cafe there. This is the NFT marketplace. And, so they've got different banners they do to promote their artists, community artists. There's one for, I think this is like a Stranger Earth collection or something. But you can see we got our friends at the Fuzzy community up at the top. Incredible numbers they've put up. The Fuzzy Bear collection, the second one from the top, Scan all the way over to the right, 2.3 million XRP in volume. Incredible, okay? Dropchan, this is a collection, a Japanese collection, okay? So we didn't even know on the XRP ledger that there was this incredibly rich, you know, bigger community, this Japanese community. They come and drop this 10,000 unit collection on the ledger, and man, it's doing great. This was a very, very cheap mint. The floor is up massive on it. It's a unique art for the ledger. You know, it's kind of a different direction, but it was this project was phenomenal. It came out of nowhere. I don't think a lot of people expected it, but man, it was encouraging to know, wow, there's this broader Japanese culture, this broader Japanese community we didn't even know. Oh, Bear Champ. Let's take a look at Bear Champ as well. I know we got a quick show tonight, but Bear Champ. Okay, this collection, you know, the DAF collection, we'll say, is from JC Rivera. So Bear Champ is probably one of the most well-known IPs, RIPs on the ledger. JC Rivera is an incredibly, you know, respected global artist from from World Cup series, I should say, World Cup series, soccer teams or football, however you want it, signing off on, they're making their jerseys and doing different collections with who's our guy there, Dave Portnoy. Got the whole Bear Champ, what's it called, where they paint the whole thing, like kind of collage, I guess you'd say. Got the whole side of his building painted out, or Dave Portnoy, in his skate park. They're teamed up with people like Elliot Sloan, this really big time skateboarder. There's just so many different ways you can celebrate Bear Champ. From having a good community, top art, top artist. You got Relic coming over from Ethereum. I mean, shout out, man, we're lucky to have these guys on the ledger with us. So definitely shout out to Bear Champ. Great collection. I think they got something new cooking up. If they do, we'll be sure to mention it on the channel. But man, gotta at least give those guys a shout out. So that's what we got for the first half of the show. We're kind of just making the case.
First half of the show, the hour is up, man.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, look, we wanted to take that first bit to say, hey, here's the intro to the ledger. Here are the platforms. Here's the, you know, two of the biggest criticisms. You know, do builders get, do they have opportunity? Volume. What's the volume on? Okay. So we looked at those two bigger criticisms. We're saying, how do you tap in? What are the top platforms? Now, the back half of the show, we're looking for 15 to 20 minutes on this.
Right.
We just want to shout out what we're most bullish on.
Absolutely.
What projects are we most bullish on?
I do want to say something as well. So this segment that you guys just watch is going to be encapsulated in an individual video that hopefully will come out tomorrow. So that way you guys can sit through it, listen to it in 1.5 to 2x, internalize all the information that was given. All the links, everything that we used for the show today is going to be in the description. And we're doing this as a way for you guys to make sure you guys don't have to use the play needle, right, to the playhead to look for these insights. So what we're doing is we're trying to mold the show in a way that we can have segments that then we can serve back like reheat for you guys to be able to just to reheat and really good, you guys can just go ahead and enjoy it a second time and get as much juice out of it. So with that being said, now we're going to go to the next part of the show, and what we're going to do is we're going to be spotlighting some projects to watch, and I'm just gonna let you take it over, so you can pretty much tell people what's going on, what projects we're bullish on, you know, the ones that have, you know, stuck through the bear market on chain and are positioned to produce a lot of value as we head into this bull market phase. So let's go.
Yeah, so just to put some context, we're saying, hey, here we are at the end of July. You know, we're saying the on-chain metrics are sweeping the lows. We're saying we're coming out of this bear market. We've had an incredible event happen late 2024. The AMMs, the XLS30 happens on the XRP ledger. There's a huge blast of on-chain participation. Projects happen. All of a sudden, here we are in 2026. who stuck through the bear market, who kept building on the ledger, who are we bullish on and why, right? Well, we're bullish on the people who stuck around, who added value, who continue to innovate, and who continue to basically say, no matter what, we're here to build not just for our project, but to make the ledger better. How can we innovate and push the ledger forward together? It's this mindset of, hey, we appreciate Ripple. We appreciate all this C-suite activity that helps and co-signs and endorses XRP as an asset, but we don't want to forsake the opportunity of making the XRP ledger home for ourselves. If you're bullish on XRP, then you got to be bullish on the XRP ledger. And so that's what kind of provokes us to say, hey, these are the projects we're bullish on, and this is why. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Everybody, you get your own mileage how you want. Don't get over your risk curve. And this is not necessarily saying, hey, go buy a token. This is saying these are people and projects that we have respect for because we've seen their body of work over the past year or maybe 2 years, depending on how you chop up the time frame. But we'll go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with Colt. Shout out Colt Rising. We put a lot of work into it. We're just looking at the accounts. We're just looking at, if we can, we're looking at the account. We're looking at basically a community leader. Obviously, there's many leaders in a community, especially in the projects that are community takeovers, CTOs, Cult, Seal, Farm. These are all CTOs. So it's kind of the name of the game is to step up. So, of course, there's a lot of leaders. But for Colt, this is the X account. We're looking to get a lot more active with our website. So we're working with the same gentleman who helped us with our reward system for writing out the custom script for the DeFi for our reward system we have in Colt, the Colt Obey reward loop. He is now going to be working on our website for us. We want to get the data from our reward loop plugged into the website, a couple other things, but our NFTs. So that's going to be coming forward for the X account. We're also going to be dropping our new content loops here on this X account. So if you're ever looking for official announcements from Colt, any of that kind of stuff, our official media pathways, official links, that's going to be here on our Colt account. Now, as we move forward, we've got my personal account. That's going to be Pheanor589. Guys, I'm active every single day. I'm always going to be screaming about Colt. I love the community. I love kind of our ethos here in the project. So you can always tap in with my account if you ever want to know what's going on. If you're ever looking to just learn more or you want to, about Colt or really anything on the XRP, XRPL, I try to follow back anybody who follows me if they've got a blue check mark or whatever, they're verified. If I try to always follow back, shoot me a DM. That's why I do follow back. Shoot me a DM. I'm always happy to learn, talk, point you at the Discord, point you at some good spaces, and, just start the learning journey together. So don't ever hesitate to reach out. As we move forward, we've got, and we're going to go through this kind of shotgun blast because as we move forward into August, I'm going to separate dedicated videos to all these projects. We're going to deep dive and learn more. So here we've got just a 10-minute little shout out here at the end of the show for our friends here on the ledger. So Seal on XRP, this is a must follow. This is from our friends at Seal with Deepak. Remember, we had him on the show for an interview. They've got their website there, sealcto.com, one of the best websites on the Web3 XRP trenches. So shout out to the Seals. This is where you're going to want to get all your information, Discord, different stuff like that. As we move forward, we've got Deepak. Now, this is probably the top developer for the Seal project. This is a must follow. Not only is he a developer for Seal, he develops cross-chain for Midnight, develops different things for the XRP ledger, right? Different tools. X Multi is a wallet. So he's active developer for the project, for the chain, multi-chain. This is why we had him on the show. He's a high-value individual. Great takes. Is an account you have to follow if you want to tap into the XRP ledger. As we move forward, here we go. Bear Champ. Now, this is the Bear Champ account. Guys, this is alpha. Okay, we're bringing you alpha on the show tonight. Bear Champ literally just did a collaboration with McDonald's. They've done collaborations with sports teams, with Dave Portnoy, with everybody. I think he was on the Kai Cenat stream last year at some point. So, But what hasn't really connected in the broader mind yet is that this guy has plotted his IP down on the XRP ledger. You can literally come get one of 400 or 500, however many it is, 500 total pieces, one of his NFTs, the OG Bear Champ collection. These are going to be some of the highest value, highest provenance pieces, NFT works on the ledger. And here you go. It says Bear Champ. B Champ stands for Bear Champ on the XRP ledger, created by @JC Rivera. That's the artist. So as we go to our next account here, you'll see we've actually got JC Rivera pulled up for us. So here it is, JC Rivera, the Bear Champ, rolling with the punches is their ethos. You can see in the banner, there's some more Bear Champ art. This is his account. Artist based out of Chicago, the Bear Champ, thebearchamp.com. In fact, XRM, one of the cult community members, one of the top traders, best takes on the XRP ledger. Very active guy, a lot of deep insight into the ledger. What did he do? He got himself a custom piece, a physical art piece from JC Rivera for his home. How did he do that? He did it through the relationships he made here on the ledger. These are the cool things that a lot of people just don't know are going on. We are bullish on this account. We are bullish on Bear Champ for obvious reasons. Hopefully it's obvious to you. It is to us. As we move forward, we got our friends at the farm. The farm account is one to watch. Long range vision, prioritizing value through their treasury. The farmerunion.meme website has a bridge that's being built. Yeah, if you look at there at the top, says bridge, second one right after home. So here it is. This is actually their, go back. So this is their bridge. We'll go to swap actually. So swap and bridge. So they have both of these available, and these are pathways to get on and off the ledger. So as we think about, real problems, we talked about volume, different aspects like this. We know that liquidity rotates from Solana, Ethereum, Robinhood, Base, what have you. Well, it's got to find ways to rotate back to the ledger. And this is problems that they're solving. These are the ways that the guys at the farm think. They're always about problem solving, identify the issue, go solve it. Treasury management, they've got a long range vision for farm. We're super bullish on them. The next account we've got, and we'll be wrapping up here, we got about 2 or 3 more, is Cookie. Cookie is essentially one of, or there's many devs at the farm, but he's probably like the most, I'd say kind of like the most outspoken. If you're looking for a community, representative for the dev of farm, I would say it's probably Cookie. Now, Cookie has been on the XRP ledger for a long time. He is a financial advisor. It says right there in his account, a financial advisor by day, degen by night. Thankful to have people like this out on the ledger. Got one of the best liquidity management tools on the ledger. Just showed you their swap and their bridge features. Incredible project. Tap in with this account. It's a must follow. Now, as we move forward, we got Phoenix and Army. Now, we don't know who the dev, or I don't know. It's not really publicly endorsed. They don't hold a lot of spaces. They don't really do this. It's a very successful project on the XRPL. They've got kind of rumored, we do believe, obviously, we believe it's coming, but they've got this, the Phoenix Rise pad. A lot of people are saying this is going to be a big catalyst for volume on the ledger. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely be tapped into this. But this is a must follow. Okay, these guys have done a lot for getting listed. They've got a lot of mind share on the ledger. They've got a provenance of successful projects in the past. This could be a potential big runner for the ledger. We want to keep our eyes on this. Now, the second one that we've got after this is the XRP Army. Again, this was a big runner. XRP Army, or Army, from the meme XRP Army. The Army token did over 100 million in the market cap. I think it was the top runner of the XRPL. So it smashed past 100 million market cap, and people are kind of saying, will this be one of the top runners as we move forward? This will be a major opportunity. I think Army right now is essentially 3 or 4 million. So if it goes to 100, if it goes to 150 million, you do the math. That's a big deal. Now, as we move forward, we've got Brad with hat. And this is between Deepak and Brad. They're kind of vying for the hat for top devs on the ledger, in my opinion. So Brad with hat, he's a developer for the Farmer Union. He's also got his own project, BWIF. He built basically the top arbitrage bots on the XRP ledger. So we're bullish on him. Hope to have him on the show sooner rather than later. Now, the reason we got this next gentleman, Schwepe. Okay, here we go. We're trying to give you about 10 projects. Here we got the second to the last one. So Schwepe is actually the Pepe joke for David Schwartz. This is a sleeper project at 100,000 market cap, roughly 150,000 market cap. This project, I see, easily could be, a couple million. It's a great meme, great website. In fact, he's also got probably the second best. He's up there in the top with his arbitrage bots. So this project has a lot behind it that a lot of people just don't know yet. But he's a very talented builder. He's got a really clean arbitrage system set up. A lot of real-time analytics. You can see this guy. He's a numbers guy. He's a coder developer. A lot of people are sleeping on Schwepe. He's a fellow Pepe. Us in the cult, we use Pepe as well. So God bless him. Pepe's unite. And so shout out to you, buddy. I believe Kang is the dev of that one. But last one we got here is Gib. No one. Sorry, buddy. I don't know if this was ready yet. But here you go, bro. I'm bullish on Gib. We're gonna see what's gonna happen here. All right. I know one of the guys behind this, kind of putting his passion into this project, is a very talented individual. I can't wait to see what he comes up with. He's a utility guy. He's got a good perspective on using your XRP, good perspective on a meme token, basically being able to do something. So as far as game theory goes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Gib's going to come up with here as we come into the next bull run. These guys got a good frame on a lot of different topics. So looking forward to seeing what Gib's going to do. It's a sleeper. It's a gem right now. I believe it's under 100K or so on the ledger. But this one right here, I'll be checking out maybe in a couple months. We'll see what happens. So shout out to Gib, man.
Yes, sir. So let's just go ahead on and just flow into the meme of the week so we can wrap it up, man. We can be a couple of minutes over, but it's still making good time because we just got a good old Ching saying, hey, he's having a big dojo tonight.
We got to get to the dojo.
We need to go ahead on and transfer and get everybody there. So let's go ahead and look at the meme of the week, and then we go from there. So let's go ahead on and transfer there. Let's see.
So shout out Hankie in the community, man. Appreciate you, bro. He had the meme of the week here. We've got a cult NFT kind of put into this really cool kind of 3D image here. He's looking at the charts, and what does he say? Rolling with the punches. That's from B-Champ, okay? At the turning of 69. This is a little bit of cult lingo, what we kind of signal as our market making. So that's very cool to see that. He said, rolled some fuzzy profits into more cult, and B-Champ snagged a little seal for the homies. Absolutely. Always got to have a bag of seal. And he says, hey, man, just showing love to the guys putting in the work at the CTO, community takeovers, right? So I couldn't agree more, man. It's a lot of hard work. Show support builders. Love to see Hankie in the community, practicing that. It's a great ethos, great culture. One of my favorite guys in the Fuzzy community. Fuzzy, very celebrated, very successful project here on the ledger. And this is a great example of being a good community member, both in Fuzzy and in Cult, and showing love to the whole ledger, man. So shout out to you, man. Keep doing what you do. Love the meme. Total cult vibe. Candles. I see some of them are green here. Totally true.
Yeah, that's dope.
And he's just staring at the charts, man. That's what we do. Hey, because we're about to have to go full bull mode here. I'm telling you, the ledger's going to heat up. And the last time it did, like I said, we had army over 100 million. Okay, so if we can get in a situation where the XRP ledger can get a couple of those, right, then this will be fantastic. It'll be a great opportunity to learn, grow. Hopefully we can all bag up some more XRP and continue to, grow the XRPL. which is what this is the whole point. This is why we're here. So.
Absolutely. So that was it. We ran through it. We were, less than 10 minutes past the hour. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. Give us the quick takeaway, and then we can go to the ending screen. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's Colt Rising on a Thursday, man. So the whole point of the episode today, what the 99% won't tell you. So hopefully that rung true. We're trying to build the case of why the XRP ledger is where you want to be looking, right? XRP is going to do what it's going to do. Maybe it'll do 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks. Maybe one of the Moon Boys will be right one day and we'll get that $500. If that happens, hey, you don't got to worry about me. We're all good, okay? I'm sure you are too. But until then, if you've got a conservative view, if you say, hey, $5 is great, $10 is great, can I get a little bit more? Can I learn a little bit more about XRP? What's the next step as an XRP community member? I've been in the community for 5, 10 years. Maybe I'm 2 years in, wherever you are. When is it the time for you to get a wallet, learn a little bit more about the ledger, and take the journey? Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. Colt will be here for you when you are ready. Until then, Colt Rising on a Thursday. XRP is bullish. If you know where to look, it's at the ledger. I hope I see you soon. God bless you.
Seekers, you have beheld the paradox, the foundational stones cracking open, the grid extending through dimensions unbound, the sacred codes guiding their path from darkness toward dawn. You have witnessed the holy marks upon the devoted, the harvest emerging ripe, the threshold numbers to hurl what ascends. Clarity has shattered the veil, even as the market current ebbs before the inevitable surge. The stream may cease, but what you retain is the vision, the pattern, the cult frequency pulsing through your veins. Beyond the broadcast itself, the grind remains relentless. The creators never falter. Be among the enlightened. And for those who arrive as seekers, may you depart as seers. Until the next Cultcast, make sure you grip your gains and be steadfast. Become the meme, train your vision, and focus on what lies beyond the pullback. The breakthrough is coming. The Cultcast is ending. But you will ascend eternally.